In this week's episode, we bring you 21-year-old Sandile Kubeka, South Africa's youngest medical doctor.
He used to carry books at Christmas Day. We would ask him, what are you doing with those books? The schools are closed.
But first, an international speaker who was raised on the streets of East London.
I always thought that she was incredibly intelligent.
Hello and welcome. In the 1980s, Bulelwa Ngantweni moved into a small shack near a rubbish dump with her mother and two siblings. The East London family became destitute after Bulelwa's mother and her partner separated. But through sheer determination and hard work, Bulelwa transformed herself from a homeless child into an international speaker. This is what Bulelwa Ngantweni and her family called home.
The dump was like the size, maybe twice the size of a football stadium, because there were bushes, and in the middle of the bush was the dump.
The family became destitute after Bulelwa's mother separated with her partner and moved out of their East London house. But a rubbish dump is not a place for a human being to live, let alone children.
We survived by eating from the dumps, and sometimes we used to go to the taxi rank in one of the taxi rank in East London. And what we used to do there, we used to go in the afternoon when the veggie vendors, people were picking up to go home, and we used to go and collect all the leftovers, all the fruit and veggie that was not, that was burnt from the sun, that they were throwing it away, and then we'll cook that.
Life was nothing but misery. Bulelwa's mother hit the bottle non-stop. Inevitably, her little girls were at the mercy of other homeless strangers.
I remember I seriously got raped many times. I can't even count. I feel like I have been more raped than I have eaten meals as a child. Can't count how many times a weekend I had something to eat, but I can tell you how many times I've been raped in a weekend.
Living with an alcoholic mother, Bulelwa was in so much confusion she didn't even know her date of birth.
I lost identity. I didn't know who I was.
Bulelwa spent years at the dump before meeting a teenager on the streets who directed her to a children's home in East London. It turned out to be a godsend. Officials at the shelter didn't think twice about arranging for Bulelwa and her siblings to stay there, leaving their alcoholic mother behind.
And we were taken to the office. They filled our names, gave us clothes, they washed us, they changed us, and we were given a home. I wake up in the morning, there'll be breakfast, there's lunch, there's dinner, and then there's a bed.
The teenager could now enjoy the smell of new clothes and the comfort of her own bed. For the next decade, this was her life. During those years, Bulelwa met a British humanitarian in East London.
I was working at a project for street children. She was one of the sort of alumni of the project.
Tom Hewitt had been preparing to start a project that reunited street kids with their families. He offered Bulelwa a job and arranged for her to move to Durban, where the program would be based.
I always thought that she was incredibly intelligent, whether she didn't have access to the level of schooling that she would have liked to have been. And so, and we connected well.
Tom took me to meet all these kids on the street. This was the first night in Durban, and they were playing soccer, you know, and Tom introduced me to all these kids. And then they were like, oh, we heard you lived on the street as well, but we don't believe that, and so on and so on. So I talked to them, I said, yes, I did.
The homeless kids could relate. Bulelwa played a crucial role using her own experience to help the children reclaim their identities and reunite with their families. The project introduced youngsters to exciting activities like surfing and football, turning some of them into employed professionals. Bulelwa's involvement in the project became therapeutic.
I was very angry with the world. I was very angry with my mom. But for me to get over that, I had to help someone.
The organization grew and sponsors came on board. Bulelwa started receiving invites to attend local and international events. From homelessness, this courageous woman was now sharing her ideas with delegates at the United Nations. She also won several humanitarian awards in the process for her work with homeless children. Her growth and strong character charmed Tom. As they worked together over the years, he fell in love with her.
We just got on really well, and I liked her a lot, and I'm sure the feeling was mutual. We had that connection, and I mean, we kind of both thought we'd just be friends, to be honest. And then over time, things developed from that.
I felt like, no, this was too good to be true. Why me when there's all other girls there, and there is someone there for you? Why waste your time with me? And I turned around to him and said, are you crazy, Wemlungu?
Eventually, Bulelwa opened her heart to Tom. In 2002, the couple tied the knot and embarked on a new journey. Bulelwa Hewitt now lives with her husband and 3 children in Durban. Several years ago, Bulelwa went back to East London to find her mother and her siblings. Fortunately, they are all still alive. As always, we appreciate your feedback. Against all odds at enca.com, we also have a presence on Twitter and Facebook. Still to come, how is it possible for a 21-year-old to be a qualified medical doctor?